All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. One of their scams is that they'll agree that they might use narcotics traffickers. They'll say that they're small time or something. Uh, and, they've been busted. Obviously, even the FBI has been busted using big time narcotics traffickers. But the scam is that they don't use sex traffickers and they have no involvement with sex trafficking, but they do. But so they'll say because they'll say, "Oh, but with the people we're going after, these are heinous pedophiles and sex criminals." So narcotics distribution takes a back seat to that. But both of those go hand in hand, right? And that's it's generally how uh, the pimps uh, get a hold of the prostitutes, but they also uh, will they don't have to be using drugs because if they're not using drugs, they'll force drugs on them and then keep them drugged up so they keep control of them. Right. Same way the deep state does it. Again, there's a lot of likenesses between all of them, and that's because they're all associated, passing dirty money left and right. Now, the 911 blue, the 911 blue, that's still out there. The closest thing I can think of and kind of see is that they're Trump supporters and they're, let me turn this volume down a little bit. They're Trump supporters and they're close to acts of terrorism. Now they'll call it something else. After the election, we might have again some law enforcement officers that will engage in some criminal activity. So we need to be keeping an eye on that, or at least thinking about it, like what to do when Trump loses, that kind of thing. Now, terror also is like KKK terror, so that could also be a possibility. And then we have the, again, white supremacist 9/11. That's obvious. So black 911 generally, and it could mean somebody of a African American, but that one came in as the ISIS, the Iran kind of thing. They wear black, they have black flags. I go get some coffee. So I'll have some tomorrow. Yeah, it's kind of weird today. I did the cuts with the circular saw. I actually couldn't use the larger guide that I bought, but that's for some bigger cuts that I'll probably make tomorrow. But I could not. I had this thing for 3 years. I haven't used it. I bought a new finer blade for it, like a couple months ago. They were blocking it, so I got to the point where I cut something, and maybe I didn't have to cut it. Maybe better not to. But again, it's not a project breaker. But through that, I was able to get the cut and great circular saw. It's a Cobalt 6 1/4 or something like that blade, and it's real nice. I've never had anything cut so smooth, and I got a really good blade on it. It's a cordless, so that's really nice. I got it for free when I bought my miter saw. I was able to use the miter saw, but I couldn't use that. I couldn't get to it. So I use a 1x2 for the guide. It worked great. I mean, it cut so beautiful. I can't complain one bit. So that was nice. I cut those. Some of the stuff what happened is my base when I would hold it tight, my base of the upright walls on the front, when I would hold it tight to the base of the entire fireplace, they were off by about 3/4 of an inch. But I think cutting it allowed it not to be off so much. And again, it's kind of like a weird thing. It's not something. It's not getting out a project breaker. As soon as I set the boards themselves are a little bit off. So once I put the top I put the sidewalls in, and I batten down each thing to the other thing. It's all going to come out semi-square, if not square. So it's going to look fine. It's just so I really didn't have to probably cut it. But I have it's all fine. I mean, it's going to work. I had to buy some different brackets, but then again, I have spare brackets that I'll probably end up using to connect the walls up, and it'll probably just be a lot easier to do it the way I'm going to do it now. I'll probably use 2 brackets per connection, the side walls to the front walls. Right. So I think I got it licked. I just got to keep going. Just a matter of time now. Once I got that circular saw rolling. And to get the circular saw rolling, I had to buy the guide, even though I didn't use the guide. So when I said to buy those Aaronic breastplates for the Torahs, or make a facsimile and hang it up, it's why do you think Hashem, do you think God needs you to go to Sabbath? Do you think he, or God's he and she, but do you think God needs you to go? I try not to use gender because, in this world, we don't want to dumb everything down in reference to Hashem. So you think Hashem needs you to do anything? No, of course not. So what is it? It isn't to prove anything, really. It's just a system to empower you. So if your system goes dirty and you don't give people the power they're supposed to get for going to shul, let's go to Sabbath and high holidays, and in fact, some people are actually debited because people with money, Jews with money, the ones that are wrote, curse the other families off. So if you go to the shul, then life gets worse, and that's not what it's made for. Right. So when I tell you to do that, that's what that is. You'll get power for it, but it does also protect the Torah. Right? But what is also there is they cursed it already. They cursed it from anyone who read it that was like stalking me, cursed it. So what that does is that then they connect to that and begins using up their power. So every time I look for that, they start they get a drag on their power. Again, they're trying to put Trump in like idiots, but they curse everybody, and their power has a short circuit. You can't. I mean, you've cursed so many people over the last 8 years that you can't disconnect. I mean, you might be able to, but you'd have to release everybody from your curses, and then you probably lose anyway because you're not honest, any of you. You don't have honest power, any of you. So, like when I look at that, then I could order something else that I need, like the brackets, because their power shifted from the brackets to the curse on the Aaronic breastplate. That's really what the systems are used for, is strategies to keep people powered. There's one over there. Foiled. That Korean guy's hilarious. He gets kind of risque, kind of out there, but basically, it's pretty funny when he does that dancing with. He's got to have the headphones on though. It's funnier when he has the headphones on. There's a lot of people like, "Oh my god, this guy doesn't know what he sounds like," but it's going to get funnier and funnier when everybody realizes who he is. So I think he's in New York City. So the more people that realize who he is, the funnier it's going to be because you're going to have 2 or 3 people that know what it is and start participating.